Authenticity. In a world that often seems determined to fit us into predefined molds, what does it mean to be authentic? We are constantly surrounded by social expectations, what others expect of us, what society values, what we should be, feel, or achieve. We live in an era where appearance matters more than being, where image can easily replace essence. But there is a truth many of us feel on a deep level. There is something more within us, something that goes beyond these layers of external expectations. This something more is our essence, the part of us that knows what is real and true, but is often silenced. Authenticity, therefore, is the courage to be who we truly are, even when it challenges conventions, even when it leaves us vulnerable. This video is an invitation to embark on a journey of self-discovery and spirituality. An invitation to explore what it means to be authentic, to question whether we are living in alignment with our inner truth or simply adjusting to what surrounds us. Authenticity is not a destination but an ongoing process, a daily practice of shedding the masks we wear and reconnecting with our essence. Let's explore the concept of authenticity together, unraveling its true meaning and discussing how this journey can be both challenging and deeply rewarding. Get ready to dive into self-awareness and discover how authenticity can bring more clarity, freedom, and peace into your life. Authenticity is living in alignment with your own truth, with who you truly are, without the need for external approval or validation. It is a state of harmony between what we think, feel, and do, a congruence that emerges when we let go of what we should be and fully embrace who we really are. But what does it really mean to be authentic? First, it's important to recognize that authenticity is not just about expressing personal opinions or preferences. It involves a deep understanding of oneself, an internal clarity that goes beyond superficialities. It is being able to say yes when we mean yes and no when we mean no, even if that means displeasing someone or being misunderstood. Living authentically means honoring our values, desires, and boundaries without feeling the need to shape ourselves to meet others' expectations. Unfortunately, external expectations have a significant impact on how we see ourselves and behave. From a young age, we learn what is acceptable and what isn't, and we often end up adjusting to these social norms to avoid criticism, judgment, or rejection. Amidst this, our true essence can be covered up, almost forgotten. Authenticity, then, is a process of rediscovery, of healing. It's like coming home after being lost for a long time, peeling away, layer by layer, everything that isn't essential. It's important to note that authenticity is not an easy path. It requires courage to confront the parts of ourselves we'd rather hide, to face fears and insecurities, and to take responsibility for our choices. Being authentic often means questioning the status quo and risking being misunderstood. However, the reward is profound. It's the sense of freedom that comes from caring less about what others think and connecting with our true essence. Authenticity is a healing path because it reconnects us with what is most true within us. When we are authentic, we live with more integrity, confidence, and inner peace. The journey to live according to our own truth can be challenging, but it is also deeply liberating. In the end, we realize that being authentic is not about being perfect, but about being whole, accepting both our light and shadow with compassion. Authenticity and self-knowledge are closely linked, and spirituality plays a fundamental role in this connection. Self-awareness is the foundation for living authentically. You need to understand who you are at your core in order to express that truth in the world. Spirituality, in turn, offers a path to access deeper layers of our identity, those that go beyond external influences, ego, and social expectations. Spirituality doesn't need to be seen only as a religious practice or something mystical. It is, in fact, a process of turning inward, of listening to the soul, and cultivating a connection with what is sacred to each of us, whether that is a feeling of inner peace, a sense of unity with the universe, or a deeper understanding of life's purpose. Spirituality reminds us that we are more than our personalities, our social roles, or the achievements we accumulate. When we start cultivating this spiritual connection, we realize that many of the decisions we've made throughout life may have been based on what we thought we should be or what we thought we had to do to be accepted. Spirituality helps us challenge these beliefs, guiding us toward choices more aligned with our true essence. Over time, this practice gives us clarity to distinguish between what is truly ours, what resonates with our soul, and what is merely an adaptation to external pressures. Living in alignment with the soul brings confidence, because we begin to trust our own intuition more than external approval. When we start acting in accordance with what we feel is true, we build a solid foundation of authenticity that allows us to navigate the world with greater freedom and lightness. Spirituality, therefore, is a compass that points to our true direction, helping us follow a life path that is in harmony with who we really are, rather than simply following expectations of who we should be. Cultivating this spiritual connection also reminds us that authenticity is a dynamic process. As we grow and evolve, our truth may change, and that's okay. Self-awareness is not a final state, but a continuous path of discovery, and spirituality is the guiding thread that keeps us connected to this journey, inspiring us to live more fully and truthfully. Being authentic is a challenging journey, and the path to living in alignment with our inner truth is full of obstacles. Among the greatest challenges is the fear of rejection. This is a fear that, at some level, we all experience. Rejection represents, for many, the risk of losing connections, of not being accepted, and even of not being loved. This fear can lead us to hide aspects of who we truly are, to shape our identity to please others, or to follow paths that don't resonate with our true essence, just to feel included. Another major difficulty we face in the pursuit of authenticity is the pressure of social expectations. From an early age, we are taught to follow certain rules and standards to be accepted: what is considered success, how we should behave, what we should achieve. These expectations can become an invisible prison, pushing us further and further from our essence. Authenticity requires us to challenge these norms, to question what really matters to us, even when that means being different. And, of course, there is the challenge of vulnerability. Being authentic requires us to be vulnerable, to show who we really are, not just the good parts, but also our imperfections, insecurities, and flaws. Vulnerability is not weakness, it is a demonstration of courage. By allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, we show that we are willing to be fully seen, without hiding parts of ourselves out of fear of judgment. Paradoxically, vulnerability is what makes us more human and allows for deeper, more genuine connections. Authenticity also demands that we be honest with ourselves. Many times, we can deceive ourselves into thinking we are being authentic, when, in reality, we are just adjusting our identity to receive approval or follow the easiest path. The true search for authenticity requires us to have the courage to confront our own illusions, to accept that we may have spent much time living disconnected from our essence, and to take steps to correct that course, even if it leads us into uncomfortable situations. Dealing with these challenges is not a linear process, but a constant dance between courage and doubt, strength and vulnerability. Authenticity is built step by step as we allow ourselves to be who we truly are, even in the face of obstacles. And while the path is not easy, it is deeply rewarding, as it leads us to a life of greater freedom, meaning, and connection with our true essence. Cultivating authenticity doesn't happen all at once. It is a daily commitment, a constant practice of self-awareness and alignment with your own truth. Being authentic requires attention and intention, as it involves identifying what is truly yours and what has been adopted due to pressures or external expectations. Here are some practical ways to bring more authenticity into your daily life. Take time to reflect on what really matters to you. What are your values? What do you consider essential in life? Ask yourself what your passions are, what makes you feel alive and connected. For some, it may be the freedom of expression, for others, creativity, compassion, or the pursuit of wisdom. Authenticity is coherence. If you think one way but act another, there is an internal disconnect that can cause emotional and spiritual conflicts. Strive to act according to what you feel and believe, even if it means disappointing others. Be honest with yourself. Are your actions aligned with your values? Do your words reflect your deepest beliefs? The exercise of authenticity involves bringing every part of you into alignment, creating a sense of integrity and unity. An important part of living authentically is being able to set healthy boundaries. Saying no can be difficult, especially if we are used to pleasing others or avoiding conflict. But learning to say no when something is not aligned with your values or your personal truth is a powerful step toward cultivating authenticity. Saying no is not an act of selfishness, but of self-respect. The pursuit of authenticity doesn't mean being perfect. In fact, embracing our imperfections is one of the greatest acts of authenticity. We all have flaws, fears, and insecurities. This is part of the human experience. Accepting our imperfections and not trying to hide our vulnerabilities is an essential step toward living truly. When we are authentic, we stop worrying excessively about what others think or expect of us. This brings a sense of freedom, as our choices are no longer guided by the need to please or meet others' expectations. When we show ourselves truly, without masks or disguises, we give others permission to do the same. Authentic relationships are based on honesty, trust, and mutual respect. This creates a solid foundation for genuine connections, where we can be vulnerable and imperfect without fear of being judged or rejected. Studies show that people who live authentically tend to experience higher levels of satisfaction and well-being. This happens because authenticity reduces the stress caused by trying to be something we are not. When we are true to ourselves, there is a sense of peace and tranquility that comes from the coherence between our thoughts, feelings, and actions. Being authentic also increases our ability to deal with challenges and adversity. When we are aligned with our inner truth, we find an internal source of strength that allows us to face difficulties with greater resilience. We don't need to rely on external approval to find security. Our foundation of confidence comes from within. Perhaps the greatest benefit of all is the sense of fulfillment that comes from living authentically. By connecting with our essence, we feel more connected to the world around us, to other people, and to something greater than ourselves. This sense of deep connection brings a satisfaction that cannot be found in conformity or the pursuit of external approval. It is a feeling of belonging, not to a group or society, but to ourselves and the universe as a whole. Authenticity is more than an abstract concept, it is a living practice, a continuous path that brings us back to our deepest essence. In the midst of a world full of distractions, social expectations, and external pressures, choosing to be authentic is an act of courage that requires strength, vulnerability, and a constant commitment to self-awareness. Remember that authenticity is a daily choice, and like any choice, it starts with small steps. It might be saying no to something that doesn't resonate with you, expressing a feeling you've always held back, or accepting a part of yourself you've always hidden. Each small act of authenticity is a step toward a truer, fuller, and more meaningful life. At the end of this journey, I'd like to leave you with a message of encouragement. Authenticity is the key to a life of freedom and fulfillment. The decision to live authentically doesn't eliminate challenges, but it makes life more genuine, richer, and more connected to who we really are. Be patient with yourself, embrace the process, and celebrate each small step taken toward your truth. Allow yourself to explore, question, challenge, and most importantly, be who you truly are, without fear, without reservations, with courage and authenticity. After all, There is nothing more powerful than being true to yourself, and the reward is a life truly worth living.